Cool. So attribution context. Can you see my screen normally, or is it because I see it tiny, but for some reason, but okay, cool. Oh, you do see it tiny.
It's fine. I could pin it. It's all good.
Yeah, it's
No.
weird. It's like, there you go. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, I'll just do that. It's like the full screen is being weird. LOAF is great for attribution. It gives us a bunch of information about the script that that did the bad thing that caused our interactions to be bad. We have the source URL, the function name, the exact position in the code that did the bad thing, but it doesn't tell us how did the script get there. And for a browser, we typically say, oh, the web developer knows what script they put on the page. And that is true in theory in some cases, but for the people that employ me at Shopify, we have storefronts. Storefronts are run by merchants. Merchants create their storefronts by picking off-the-shelf themes that they can use in order to power their stores. And then they can augment those themes by adding various theme app extensions. So essentially code snippets that they can inject in various places inside of the theme in order to get extra functionality. And so who added the code? And okay, we have a URL for a JavaScript that did a bad thing. Where did it come from? Maybe it came from merchant code. Maybe it came from theme code, from app code. Maybe any one of them included a third party. WordPress is probably similar. Any one of them could have included a third party. Any one of the scripts that any of them injected could have dynamically loaded the script that did a bad thing. And it's very hard to keep track of any of this and be able to tell merchants something coherent about the relevant party that did a bad thing and caused high INP. So how can we try to attribute? Right now, essentially the setup we have for injecting app themes is we have we inject the app blocks, and we also inject comments to the start and the end of the app block. And theoretically, those are currently part of the HTML. Theoretically, we can also practically, but very hackily, we can walk the tree and try to find those comments and try to say, oh, okay, a script that is inside of that particular block is coming from that app injection, and therefore we can attribute it to this particular app. That is one option. It is not a pretty option. The other option is to do some form of server-side parsing to all the HTML we inject, and then do some kind of accounting on that. That includes a lot of unneeded complexity. It also doesn't account for anything dynamically loaded. So anything that is injected through JavaScript is not something we'll pick up by parsing the code we inject. So I started thinking about maybe we could have some form of a context attribute that will enable us to say, at least for app blocks, this is the context of this particular snippet of code. Please propagate this to all the resources, all the things that this code does. And then have this context reflected in performance entries, propagated through various initiated resources. And basically enable us to have some accountability for this particular bit of code and what it does to the page. Now, this will not, like, at least from the Shopify perspective, this will not be ideal, because an extra div there can break existing content that relies on direct child CSS selectors. So if I have a theme and I have an app that are currently the theme developer or the merchant try to style the app, relying on the fact that it has HTML tags that are direct descendants of other HTML tags, this will break it. We'll have to somehow deal with it, or maybe I could then go to the CSS working group and try to get some, maybe this style can be ignored for the purpose of child selectors. I'm not sure. This is all very essentially, this is a use case. I wanted to see if this is a use case that is common to other folks on this call, and gather thoughts on this and how we can tackle this. So with that, I'd love your thoughts and let's discuss.